Here we are again, about 6 weeks after our trip to Bogach, and it's been kind of lousy weather, which you'd expect in March and April, I guess. A lot of rain and cold, and we finally decided to go on another little trip about an hour away to Hotel Cingov, which is by the Slovensky Raj, the Slovak Paradise. And I'll do some biking, we'll do some hiking. We're gonna go over to the hotel, to the play center. Fun. Slovensky Raj is really beautiful. There's very many areas to stay, kind of more on the front range of it for camping, and you can get in quite nicely with some hikes and some biking and just beautiful wilderness. Very few roads or buildings in there, and just nice to go out in nature. Even though it's March, it's April actually, and the leaves are just starting to bud, so it's not like the most beautiful surroundings that you would get later in the year. But we've been inside too much for too long.
This is unbelievable. It's so good.
Oh, what are we supposed to do when this world gets the best of you? When hanging on the whole day through feels too long. I know that you think and feel it too. You try to get to someplace new.
Here we are at Tomaszowski Výhľad. Very popular place in the Slovensky Raj, and you don't want to get too close to the edge. I'm not one for taking risks like that. It's funny how when you have kids, you get a lot more cautious about these things. Yeah. Wow, it just makes it just jaw dropping. Look at that. So far up.
What are we supposed to do when nothing good is getting through, and everything that's hurting you feels so strong? I know that you feel it like I do, dreaming of a system to lift us up and see us through, but those days are gone. And I'll tell you all about it one day, when everyone is safe at home. We're out here alone. They like to tell us what to think and to say, as if we don't already know, when we already know.
We finally got some beautiful spring weather. It's about 17 degrees Celsius today. And we're back from a little hike, kind of the most that Leonard could do with his little legs. It was wonderful views. There's nothing like a campground with nobody in it. Maybe it's not for everyone, but just the total quiet, like all night long sleeping was just completely quiet. All you hear are birds. One of the things I noticed about camping, whether it's tent or camper or whatever, is, it's humbling. You'd think that, I don't know, you're trying to show off. You have this massive caravan and whatever, and it's it's an ego trip. It's the opposite of an ego trip. It's just humbling, just first of all, just driving it, and just, you know, you're humble, just, oh my gosh, I hope everything's okay. Did I do everything right? You know, there's that element. And then of course there's just setting up. It's going to take an hour. When you arrive somewhere, it's going to take hours to pack everything before you leave and to unpack. So, you know, it's not like going to a hotel where you're just being pampered. You have to kind of get on the ground and get your hands and knees and carry things around and do things, which is a lot of fun. But it's not for everyone. If your idea of a nice time is that, you know, someone cooks for you and cleans after you, and you know, you come with your luggage and that's about it. But it's even more than that. I think it's you get to a place, especially in a place that's so quiet, with nobody around and nothing to do except for, you know, go for a hike or whatever. You kind of go beyond your normal thoughts, your normal stories about your life. And to me, that's the best thing about traveling, to kind of clear your mind and come back home and have a kind of a fresh perspective. You know, home feels new again. And every trip, of course, every place you go is a little bit different. And sometimes when I'm thinking about where to go, it's like, I don't know, we've been there how many times? Is there really a point? But every time you get out, as long as the weather's decent, you know, most of the time, there's always some kind of element to it that you can't really describe. It's just more the experience and the feeling of total relaxation and calm. And like I said, the no ego element. I think you have to be that kind of person. If you're only thinking about status and, you know, what you look like, you tend to not want to wear your best clothes when you're camping, even if you bring them with, because it just doesn't make any sense. You just feel like your truest self, like when you were a kid. I actually started like identifying more. I'm from Wisconsin. I've been living in Europe for 20 years now. And I'm sure I'll talk about that a little bit in some future videos of, you know, how I did that or why I'm here. But recently I started going back to my sort of childhood and you know, Wisconsin, you know, Milwaukee Bucks and Packers and kind of going back to my traditions, because it just feels like you're humbled. You're not that sort of person trying to look like somebody, trying to achieve, trying to show off, which I was very much that person. I lived in Seattle, and as soon as you go to a major city, you think you're better than everyone who doesn't live in the city, because, oh, you know the restaurants and you know what to do, and the food's better, and you go to concerts or whatever you're into, you start to get a sort of snobby attitude about it. And I really don't miss that. As I get older, I think, you know, it's kind of silly. I guess it's a part of life. But there's also this element of always achieving, or always driving your kids to achieve, or your spouse, you know, always pushing for something better and holding people around you and yourself to a higher standard, to be impressive somehow, of course, to make money. We all want to make more money. That's different. But I mean, to look like money, to look like you're special. And when you go down this path of, you know, whether you have a van and you're on the road for months or whatever, or whether you're just going for the weekends or for, you know, days at a time and then back home, you're on a path of trying to enjoy the present moment, trying to enjoy simplicity. And I think that's something that we sometimes miss in our lives with, you know, with our constant entertainment and gadgets and being at home and our routines. So, you know, how do you know, there are a lot of these camping or these travel videos where someone tries to, you know, have a certain image and tries to look cool and and a lot of that's a lie. I can tell you for sure, watching a lot of that, it's all staged, or they're showing things that are not realistically what the place looks like around you, and it's not really the country that they're in. They're just trying to create a sort of stereotype about that place or that way of living. And I don't want to do that. That's not what this is about. So it's, it might look a little bit amateur and silly, but I'm probably not going to do the drone shots and all that because that's not how I experience it. I just want to share that joy of the simplicity and the no ego, because it's so rare these days. Not to be thinking about politics or thinking about your identity. Who am I? What job do I have? What career do I have? How much money do I have? How well are my kids doing in school? What college do they go to? Where do I live? And all those identity things are what hold us back from being our truest selves. And feeling okay with that, feeling okay with being simple and just being who you are. It's not easy, for me either. Like sometimes I'm like, why should I do a video? Maybe I should. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's just fun, actually. But, who am I? What am I doing? Well, why do I pull my kid out of school for a day or two for a camping trip, or just to be living a simple life? But when you think about it, it's really just that stuff of the media, stuff of the world, the conditioning that we go through to try to get us to fall into line. And you're just battling your programming, your conditioning. But getting out here definitely helps to do that.
You're never gonna lose a man who you know how to love. So don't go mad or crazy over everything he does. And if he gets those urges for people who don't love him like you do, who will not treat him as well as you do, who cannot fit him like you do. Jealousy can make you crazy, but if you both look it in the face, you'll both get to a better place where everything's always good. No one's gonna take your man, no one's gonna steal his love. He knows you're the most amazing with your unconditional love. And if you get those urges for people who don't love you like he does, will not treat you as well as he does, who cannot fit you like he does. Jealousy can make him crazy, but if you both look it in the face, you'll both get to a better place where everything's always good. You both have total honesty, trusting everything you do. You both love unconditionally, the only kind of love that's true. There are, if we get lost on a gray and cloudy day, Together we'll always find our way. 'Cause every day feels like summer with you. Every day feels like starting anew. Every day feels like summer with you. 'Cause every day feels like summer with you. Every day feels like starting anew. Every day feels like summer with you. And here's the kitchen where you get some water. It's kind of like a professional kitchen. I'm sure this stuff is pretty old, but nice little kitchen with this dome check. I always like when I can get both water jugs filled at once and have enough for the whole tank and carry it back as an even load, one on each arm. As for my review of Hotel Cingov, well, I don't know much about the hotel because I didn't stay in the room, but camping is amazing. 35 euros a night, which is not that cheap, but not ridiculous. I wish the pool was included in that, but you pay extra for the pool. You get 2 hours, 13 euros per adult, 8 per children. So it gets a little, it's like maximum kind of what they could charge for this. The hotel itself, and by the way, here's a nice little WC if you, that's where you can dump your waste, but if you're camping here in a tent, nice showers and toilets here in the campground. So the campground is great. Back here behind the hotel, they have a little playground and they're building a new outdoor swimming pool over here. Like the stream flows in the now. In the now. I wanna know like a child knows. I wanna grow like